2002-2004.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Okay, hearing none. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None? Unanimous? Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Okay, we have on the agenda for 8 o'clock to discuss Adam Street 61A, and well, I know Mr. O'Leary and Mr. Robbins. Mr. Keys, I'm sorry, are here. We are expecting a representative of the Land Utilization Committee, and I did tell them that it would be about 8 o'clock, so I'd like to skip over on the agenda and come back to that, if you don't mind waiting for a few minutes. Why don't we go to the next item on the agenda, which is billed as town-owned land discuss. And I hope I sent out an email called Mr. Vito got my message, I can see, asking for anyone who could bring their map and have it handy. Very good.
I'll look.
You could go get it. We have plenty of time. You could go get it. And this was put on the agenda at my request tonight, though, as part of the town. You can change. As part of the, because we're not going to look at anything, I think, really specifically. As part of the town administrator's goals was to, I guess, do a more specific assessment of town-owned land. And we had sent out that it was kind of a database that Mr. Younger sent out every year, and getting a brief response, and various committees or departments would say, yes, I'm interested in that, a parcel, or no, I'm not. But sometimes it seemed that maybe I'm sorry, I can't remember. Where's your name?
There's two.
Oh, there's two. Excuse me, sorry about that. So, like I said, it seemed like it was a perfunctory look at the database, and, yes, a lot of yeses were interested on sometimes very small parcels. So as part of the town administrator's goals, one suggestion was to develop a map in conjunction with Tim Honetschlager, our GIS specialist, that we could look at and kind of see where the town-owned land was, and see if there was any, I guess, tact or changes that we'd like to look at in the process of reviewing town-owned land, and who is or is not interested. And since we did have this map, and also had, we're talking about land anyway regarding the 61A that will come up shortly, I wanted to bring up tonight and suggest that perhaps we share this map again with department heads and other committees, and get a really good fix on, a specific fix on their interest. And if a department or committee is interested in, for example, a little landlocked third of an acre, I would like to know why. And if they're not, then I think some of the very small parcels of land we should go about offering to abutters that might increase their lot size, might give them more flexibility in terms of zoning if they wanted to put an addition on their home, or add a garage, or a shed, something of that nature, or just enhance, the property value and the amount of land they own overall. I think buying a small piece of land to enhance your parcel, buying it from the town with the cost of land nowadays is probably a good deal for most homeowners, and to keep little tiny parcels is probably a good deal for the town to get it on the tax rolls. I'm not suggesting that we seek to dispose of large parcels, but that are parcels that are truly don't have any municipal use. And so I wanted to bring that up for discussion tonight to get a consensus of the board whether Mr. Younger should go out, talk to department heads, maybe target parcels, under an acre, pick a size, landlocked parcels under an acre, have the departments really look at them and make sure there's absolutely no use, and then go about and inform abutters that they're available for sale. Mr. O'Leary.
I think part of the problem that we've encountered in the past is our minimum asking price has, as a result of a policy that was passed a few years back has prevented us from being able to sell some of these parcels. The assessor goes through whatever exercise he does to put a number on a parcel, and I'm not saying that he's wrong in what he's come up with, but by the same token, many of these parcels are not buildable, and they would only be valuable to a direct abutter. And there's no incentive for these people to buy it because no one else can do anything with it. So if you go and, I don't know about you, I just got my tax bill the other day.
Oh, yes.
It didn't ruin my weekend because I didn't get it until Sunday night.
Mine said.
Yeah, I was away. So anyway, but I noticed that my land value went up substantially. I was depressed to see with all my improvements, my house didn't go that much, but that's okay. But what's happened is that we even had one up in my neighborhood, it was last year, up off of Hancock Street. That went up, people petitioned, it went up, and then when the minimum amount became known to them, it was a little too excessive for them to step up to the plate and pay $10,000 or whatever it was, whatever the number was. And it's not valuable to anybody else. So as a result, it continues to sit on our books instead of on the tax rolls. So I think we need to review our policy maybe, if what we're looking to accomplish is to get some of these smaller parcels which are no municipal use, to get them to the direct abutters, to their hands and back on the tax rolls. So I don't care if we sell it to them at a bargain rate in order to get it back on the tax rolls. It's not necessarily just because we sold it to them at that low rate doesn't mean it's not going to be assessed at a higher rate or increase the value of the property.
No, I think the assessment would stay the same on the idea.
Well, again, generally we require them to join it in with their other parcels. So
Right.
it would be assessed again as one whole parcel
Right.
rather than two separate ones. But I think in the past what's happened to us is that there's another parcel that's diagonally across the street from me. It isn't of any use except for the guy diagonally across the street from me, and there's no need for him to buy it because no one else can do anything with it. So it's like, why would he step up to the plate and pay, I don't know, $7,000 for something, or $10,000, or whatever the assessed value is now, for something that no one else can use and he's still enjoying now anyway, for nothing. So we have to incent these people to buy it and to take ownership of it. In order to do that, we need to review our policy and determine that that might be in the town's best interest.
Mr. Callaghan and Mr. Green?
I agree with what Steve was just saying. I think the one thing we would have to be cognizant of is if any of these small parcels put together with an abutter, all of a sudden it becomes 2 acres and now can be subdivided, then I think we should get fair market value in that instance. But the instances as you outlined, I agree with you. I think we ought to basically give it for a bargain basement price, get back on the tax rolls, and let the homeowners have the upkeep of the property as well, which lends to nicer looking neighborhoods. It really is.
This particular case, my neighborhood, the guy's maintaining it now anyway.
Right.
So it's not unsightly. It's just,
But no, I agree. I think we should look at that policy and change it where we need to so that it fits our needs.
Mr. Vino?
This may be a good year. I agree with Mr. O'Leary on the first comments of 2005. Could be a different year. No, I do. I agree.
Excuse me, Joe, that wasn't a resolution or anything you've been working
Oh,
on.
no. Nothing goes in writing, Steve. No. Everything's still on the table. I recall that when we did this change, I was opposed to doing what we did. I honestly can't say if I voted for the change or not, but I remember I put up some opposition against it. For the same reason that Steve is saying. What we will be opening, and yes, I'm in favor of looking at the policy again, I want to say that. But what we will be opening ourselves up to is what we had before. People were coming before us stating, well, you sold this parcel for $2,000, why do I have to spend $22,000? And I think we can deal with that as we go through it. I would want a stipulation put on all of this land, though, that it is not to be built upon. If somebody wants to purchase it to enhance their property, I would have no problem with that. But if they were able to subdivide and sell a lot off as a building lot, I would be opposed to that. Because I think we have to do everything we can to keep the building, the new building at a minimum. And I do agree, I would like to see these smaller lots put back on the tax roll that as a non-buildable lot, and that it could not enhance the property so it could be subdivided into a buildable lot. But I'm more than willing to look at the policy.
Mr.
Just for clarification, if someone were to acquire a lot to put an addition on their existing home that would extend into that lot, what's your position on that?
If somebody was going to add on to an existing home,
Existing
no, I would
house.
say no building at all.
None at all?
None at all on the lot.
None at all, I'm not sure.
A shed or a swimming pool or something like that.
But if someone wants to put an addition,
Like a family would want their home or something.
Well, to be very honest, I'd take it on a case-by-case basis, but I would probably vote against it.
Because in fact, that would add to our tax rolls. The assessment of that home would go up,
But
if the same family would be
if
there.
that addition is 2 or 3 bedrooms, it would add to other things, you know?
okay, well, it seems that we're agreeing. Mr. Younger? Oh, thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. What I would like to recommend to the board is to review, to begin with, general government lots that'll be less than an acre and non-contiguous. By that I mean, you would not have 2 or 3 parcels together that would be less than an acre, but combined would be an acre and a half. Also, I'd like to narrow it down at this point, is property that does not abut other town-owned properties. Because if we went up for sale, I'm not saying the board would wish to do this or not, but the Conservation Commission may be interested in acquiring a property as general government that abuts conservation land at this point. I don't know if the board wants to address that at this point, but what I would like to do is take the properties of general government, not contiguous, less than an acre, and begin that review.
Seems to make sense.
Yeah, I
Makes
think
sense.
Good start.
I think that makes a lot of sense. And we can look at the policy. I mean, a policy is just that. It's a policy, it's not a bylaw. Now, if we want to amend it, that it says, you know, that it's sold at assessed value when, and it's up to us if we sold it or not, but when it would be a separately buildable lot. And then I don't know what we want to do with the policy when it's not. If someone's just going to add, you know, 8,000 square feet or something of that nature, if we want to sell it for a percentage of assessed value to get, you know, get away from the, you know, you sold it to my neighbor for this and that we sell it for 25% of assessed value or something. You know, I just throw that out as an idea, just to be consistent and keep it as a policy, but again, give folks the incentive that they, you know, it becomes part of their parcel, they, for you know, zoning down the line, if they want to put an addition on, or a swimming pool, or whatever it is, you know, change the configuration of their driveway. You know, it does add some value, I think, and I think if you're going to sell your home and add some value, if you could say, well, I have an acre and a third versus an acre and that over there is mine, and it takes away the question from a potential buyer, who said, well, that's the town's, what, you know, could the person on the other side acquire it at some time, what, you know, what could happen to it, could you put a cell tower on it? So, you know, perhaps form a policy that way so we can be consistent rather than just setting the price one.
Yeah, I think if we get the listing from the town administrator of those parcels that he's segregating right now, with the current assessed valuation, you know, lot size, assessed valuation, location, we can take a look and see if a percentage works, you know, because again, with the value of land these days, it's still a lot of money to a lot of people. And you're talking about, for the most part, smaller, older neighborhoods, where these parcels are going to become available, potentially. Not necessarily, the older neighborhoods don't have people with